Hi, good evening and welcome to the program The Law of the People and Governance here on Spectrum Television. This is the program that talks about issues concerning the people and the government as well. It serves as a bridge between the gap between the government and the people, or in the gap between the government and the people. My name is Rachel David White. On today's program, we'll take a look at some developing issues in Nigeria today. One of such developing issues is that of the strike. Of course, the past 2 days we've been talking about the strike by the NLC and the TUC and all its affiliate members. Well, it is exciting to know that they have called off the strike, but let's also get to look at other issues before we get to that part. Meanwhile, today promises to be interactive, so you can be a part of the show. Let's get to know your thoughts, and all of the issues would be sharing today. The phone lines will be opened. Of course, you can send us a WhatsApp, or you can also send us a text message, or you can put up a call across to us. First, the Labour Party has denied news making the rounds that it is a major talks with any political party, particularly the PDP. According to reports, Atiku Abubakar, presidential candidate of the PDP in the last election, had proposed a merger between opposition parties in order to wrestle power from the ruling Progressives Congress, APC. But in a statement today, Obiora, the Labour Party's National Publicity Secretary, described reports that the party was engaged in major discussions as twisted to embarrass the Labour Party. Now, this came because of rumors, which I already mentioned, that the Labour Party has embraced Atiku Abubakar's call for opposition parties to unite, considering it's a favorable proposition to challenge the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC, and also to safeguard democracy. And as well, these, in an exclusive interview, Labour Party's acting National Publicity Secretary, Obiora, expressed support for any initiative that aims to restore genuine democracy, emphasizing the need to remove the perceived authoritarian grip of the ruling party. Well, Atiku Abubakar had proposed the opposition parties major in a contract which he described as the APC's move toward a one-party state, warning about the potential threat to Nigeria's democracy. The former vice president emphasized the importance of unity among opposition elements to actually prevent further democratic setbacks. However, the new Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, responded with a more cautious stance, deeming Atiku's proposal as medicine after death. Well, NNPP's National Publicity Secretary, Yakubu Shandam, emphasized that any potential merger should focus on supporting former Kano State Governor Rabiu Kwankwaso's bid for the presidency in 2027. I see politics here. Well, Shandam stressed that collaboration should be strategic, centering on Kwankwaso's perceived capacity to lead the nation effectively. He also expressed that the NNPP is open to collaboration, specifically with Atiku, if he aligns with their vision and supports Kwankwaso's leadership. Now, let's even talk about Atiku's candidacy, his personality. I mean, he has tried to grab that seat for over the years now, but it seems that the seat does not just favor him. So it looks like he has a lot of works to do, because he's totally out. Looks like he's out of. For Nigerians, I would say, judging on the past elections or in the past elections, it looks like the Nigerians have seen him try to grab the seat a couple of times, and he seems not just to get it right. And calling this major call medicine after death, well, I think it's medicine after death. Away from that, the federal government has slashed the charges against ex-Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele, from an initial 20 to just 6 counts. I would say that's fair. Well, the charges centered on alleged procurement fraud have been significantly downscaled from an initial 6.25 billion to 1.2 billion naira. The amended charges implicate Emefiele in purportedly conferring advantages on a CBN staff member, Sa'adatu Ramalan Yaro, and her company, April 1616 Investments Limited. The accusations detail instances where contracts for the supply of various vehicles were allegedly awarded to April 1616 Investment Limited, where Yaro holds a directorship. In the amended charge sheet marked CR/577/2023, cited, of course, by some, it was all over the media space yesterday, Emefiele is the only defendant in the new charge. So the case initially filed in August. He has faced numerous setbacks, including Emefiele's absence during court proceedings when the Department of State Services failed to produce him. Further complicating matters, the Nigeria Labour Congress and Trade Union Congress strike past the arraignment process. Well, let's watch out for what the judgment will be this time. It has been reduced from 20 to 6-count charges. Away from that, the Labour Party LP has denied news making the rounds, which I already mentioned, that the major talks with any political party, particularly the People's Democratic Party, PDP, is off it. According to them, it's a no-no, and anything, they actually welcome a genuine, heart or a genuine reason for wanting to have democracy back, but definitely not a major. So let's quickly move away from that right now. But those are some of the issues that we will be looking at right now. I already mentioned the issue of the major between Atiku Abubakar of the PDP and other political parties. Well, the NNPP and the SDP have come out with theirs. The NNPP says if it has to happen, then Atiku Abubakar has to welcome giving up his candidacy and recognizing Kwankwaso as the regional candidate of whatsoever will be the major, the name of the merger of that party, or whatever party is going to major to. Definitely their candidate has to be Kwankwaso according to the NNPC's demands. Moving away from that right now, let's take a look at another issue here in Nigeria today, and that is talking about, the strike. Before now, I had mentioned the issue of the strike, and that is just another main issue that we are going to look at. But before then, we'll just go on a short break, and when we come right back, we're definitely going to look at that issue together. And don't forget that today is going to be interactive, so we have a guest who will be joining us today to talk about these issues. We'll go on a quick break. We're coming right back. All right, welcome back. It's still the program, The Law of the People and Governance, here on Spectrum Television. About to talk about the strike. Well, the organized labor last night directed all the affiliate unions to resume work today. Well, reports are making the rounds. We understand that, well, the directive was issued following the suspension of the indefinite strike that started Tuesday, November 14. Well, today, I must say, some public schools I haven't seen returning back to office. Well, the suspension of the strike was sequel to the mediation of the National Security Advisor, NSA, Nuhu Ribadu, the Nigeria Labour Congress NLC General Secretary Emmanuel Obaja, the Secretary General of the Trade Union Congress Nuhu Toro, announcing the suspension of the indefinite strike. In a statement said the suspension was intended to facilitate further discussions after the federal government had met the organized labor's crucial demands to address the distressing abduction and brutalization of the president, the NLC President Joe Ajaro and others. And also reacting to the strike, former governor of Edo State, Adams Joshomole, has decried the recent assault on the president of the Nigerian Labour Congress, NLC, Joe Ajaro, in Imo State. Well, during a televised interview, Joshomole expressed his disapproval for organized labor's decision to declare a nationwide strike in response to the incident. He further revealed his own experience of assault by the Department of State Services during his tenure as the president of the NLC between 1999 and 2007. Well, he narrated his encounter, saying he had a similar experience. He was on his way to Delta State and he went to the airport. Then the director of the SSS ordered that he should be arrested and stopped from traveling because they had given an ultimatum to the federal government headed by President Olusegun Obasanjo in detention after being taken away, but emphasized his commitment to persist in the struggle for justice. He also, highlights the historical challenges by the labor leaders in Nigeria and underscored the need for accountability and respect for the rights of individuals. Also, Shomole said Ajaro was wrong to have been involved in the election of the NLC chairman in Imo State. Oshomole stated that as a result of his assault 2 weeks ago, the NLC president banned flight out of the state in the lead up to last Saturday's highly anticipated governorship election. Meanwhile, concerning their demands, former military head of state Abdul Salami Abubakar has expressed his dissatisfaction with a 30,000 minimum wage. Don't forget that the 35,000 is just an award for 6 months. He said that it is unacceptable in the current reality in Nigeria. I mean, let's look at it. Abdul Salami called on President Tinubu to consider increasing the minimum wage as he believes that 30,000 cannot lead to meaningful human development anywhere in the world. Well, the former head of state spoke in Jalingo, the Taraba state capital, yesterday when he delivered a speech at a Maiden Peace, Unity and Reconciliation Summit organized by Taraba Independence Peace Committee. Represented by Reverend Father Ataba Kindo, the head of Secretariat of Kuka Center of the National Peace Committee, he urged Nigerians to utilize the resources within their areas to improve their standard of living. And finally, another issue we'll be looking at, the man who intervened for the strike, the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, has knocked the immediate past administration of Muhammadu Buhari, saying it left Nigeria bankrupt before relinquishing power. He said this in Abuja at the Chief of Defense Intelligence Annual Conference 2023, which had the theme leveraging defense, diplomacy, and of course effective regional collaboration for enhanced national security. While the former chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission however assured that the financial mess wouldn't affect budgetary allocations as everything would be done to enhance robust and viable defense management apparatus in the country. According to him, he says, I assure you that the federal government will not rest on its laurels in ensuring a robust and viable defense management and security apparatus to address contemporary challenges, even in the face of enormous budgetary constraints. He says, yes, we are facing budgetary constraints. It is okay for me to tell you, fine. It is important for you to know that we inherited a difficult situation, literally a bankrupt country, no money, to a point where we can say that all the money we are getting now, we are paying back what was taken. It is serious. But this administration is doing its best to meet our requirements, particularly the armed forces, and I believe that you leaders will be able to testify to that. Well, in attendance at the conference were the Minister of Defense, Abubakar Badaru, Minister of State, Bello Matawale, the Permanent Secretary in the Defense Ministry, Ibrahim Kana, the Chief of Defense Staff, and other service chiefs. The NSA comments comes about, about the current administration inheriting a country in financial distress comes after President Bola Tinubu lavished over $500,000 on a 5-day stay in a luxury hotel in New York in September. Don't forget that a breakdown, which I also did here, the president is also presently pushing to spend 13.5 billion naira, that's $16.2 million, of course, to refurbish a presidential residence, according to the reports on ground. He is going to renovate his official residence in Abuja and in Lagos, where he already has a mansion and would rarely use it as a president. Well, these are the issues we are going to look at majorly. This one. So right now we're being joined already on standby via audio call by Godwin Odobot, all the way from Benue State. Good evening and welcome to the show, Godwin. Hello, good evening. Okay, I think he's trying to connect to us, or he doesn't know that he's already connected. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening, Richard.
Okay, yeah, I think you didn't know you were already connected. Good evening and welcome to the show.
Yes.
All right, Godwin, how are you doing? It's been a while.
Yes, it's been a while. I'm here.
Okay, so let's talk. The first thing I'd like us to talk about is Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, the first thing I'd like us to talk about is the issue of merger between, the former presidential candidates of the PDP, Atiku Abubakar, has already reached out to call for a merger between political parties. The SDP, according to report. And the Labour Party already has shown that this is not going to work. Of course, in their statement, they support whoever wants to bring in genuine democracy and, clear governance, but they are not looking like they are willing to give out their platform. And the SDP has said that it is medicine after death. After the elections, the All Progressives Congress has already won, so why bring up the merger now? NNPP says except Atiku is willing to give out that position for Kwankwaso, then nothing can happen. So what do you think about a merger? Do you really think this is medicine after death, or do you think this is teaming up for 2027? Hello, Godwin. Hello?
Yeah, hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you better now.
Okay, I like before the election, I did say that if the opposition party in the country had wanted to take over power, it should come together and decide on how to harness and see how to solve the problem of Nigeria by coming together to agree within themselves. The present FPC that we are having, that's the All Progressive Congress, happen to emerge as an opposition party and take over power from the PDP in 2014 as a result of merge, as many parties coming together to merge and form the FPC, that is the All Progressive Congress. So if Atiku Abubakar and every other members of other opposition parties decide to do so, and for me, I would advise that people, it's excellent that Alhaji Atiku Abubakar should not always aim at being the one to contest the election. Let them come together and choose a credible person that they can put resources together and support this person to win the presidential election, or this party to take over the national and see how they can build the country together. It's not something that these people, the different political parties merge together and form and Mr. Okay, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar will the one to come out and contest. It should be the grown level of advising and talking to Nigerians or selecting a credible person that he will be able to advise that will bring solution to the issue that is surrounding the country. So that is my take.
Okay, by credibility, do you think that it is the person of, his personality, Atiku Abubakar? I understand that, of course, as Nigerians will know how many times he has vowed for that seat, but it seems not to get it. Do you think this issue may have anything to do with his personality? I mean, I'm talking based from your point of view that if he wants to, he should allow another person to go for it. Do you think if he still pushes, he's definitely not going to get it?
It's not going to affect his personality. He will make him what?
No, what I mean is, do you think it is because PDP chose him as a candidate that is making the party not win, or that made the party not to win?
Yes, because you look at it, you will notice that the former governor of Rivers State, the governor of Benue State, and other governors, because of his emergence as the PDP presidential candidate, so many people pulled out of the PDP. They decided to support other political parties. So I feel a lot of people don't just like his kind of person. Not that he cannot be a good leader, but when you talk about Nigeria as a multi-party country where power is rotated, sometimes the presidential candidates that come from the north or that come from the south. So I think that was the issue that Atiku couldn't win the election because of his personality, not because he's not a good leader, but because so many people who don't in the PDP want him to emerge as the presidential candidate, being that he's from the north. The presidential APC, the All Progressive Congress, won their presidential ticket in the south. So a lot of people are also feeling that PDP should also zone to the south too.
Okay, I got you right now. I mean, you're talking about his personality, and you're talking about him coming from the north and not pulling power. I remember so well that before the elections, different people had come out to come to emerge as the flag bearer of that party, but because of that, I mean, the likes of Peter Obi went for the Labour Party and all of that, so it may have had something towing your line of thought to do with his personality. But let's quickly move away from that right now and talk about the trending issue, which is the strike, the NLC and the TUC strike action, which has been called off after 2 days. Now, I'm going to be talking from the point of the former Edo governor and the former NLC president. I'm talking about His Excellency Adams Oshomole. Well, he has also recounted his ordeal in the hands of, having to be arrested and, of course, brutalized, just like the NLC president Joe Ajaro. But the question I want to ask now: Labour had placed so many demands in front of on the table of the federal government, and that which seemed to have awakened the strike and made it active was the fact that the NLC president was brutalized. And this has made so many Nigerians call for worry, concerns. Why is it that the people's demands does not, make Labour this anxious, to keep the strike? But the fact that the NLC president was assaulted, we saw Labour ensure compliance, made it very effective and all of that. Does it have anything to do with politics, or is it about the people's wishes or the people's demands now?
Okay, I see Labour to be so emotional when it comes to, they became so serious because their leader was assaulted. But when it comes to the issue of that concern the well-being of Nigerians and Nigerians as a whole, you see them not to bite so hard like they just did. So I look at it that they were rather they are rather too emotional, even though I am not in support of the assault that was melted on the president. I think about to now be more serious because their president were assaulted, but they took it very serious and taking the what leads to the action. Because a lot of Nigerians is very angry now. You could maybe you may not know if the people that assaulted him is because of the neighbors are not the labor union are not living up uh, to expectation or something as I'm just saying is more like it's not that I am concluding or I'm saying what the big was right. But I mean that what I meant is that if labor should put this kind of energy because to tell Nigerians that they don't like the way their president or their executive was assaulted, they should also channel this kind of energy to see how the Nigerian economy could work. They should also channel this kind of energy to how they can make sure that our leaders sit up, they do up to the expectation which they were elected to carry out their function. So if we only see labor coming out when their person is being attacked or their person is being assaulted, come out en masse and take action. But when it comes to issues that concerns Nigerians and Nigeria, you see them to be handling it with bare hands and like that. So I feel they are not living up to expectations when it comes to handling the issues that are affecting Nigerians and Nigeria, like the way they are handling the issues that affect them as a group.
Okay, one last question before we move away from this issue. Now, the former NLC president and Edo State governor has said that the strike was he says this strike came on a wrong time. Do you think this was a wrong timing? I mean, first subsidy is off, a whole lot of biting hard economy and all of that right now. So do you think this was actually a wrong timing? I mean, asking for the right thing at the wrong time. And if yes, when would have been the right time?
When His Excellency Comrade Adam Osomole was the labor union, though I was very small then, I was still in secondary school, but I could remember how His Excellency Adam Osomole used to pull the crowd, used to pull weight, how he used to make the Nigerian government to be on toes, make them to carry out what they're supposed to do, their constitutional assignment very well. That is the leader, the president as a whole, and the governors of different states. But coming to this one, if he says is whether at the NLC are doing the right thing at the wrong time or the wrong thing at the right time, I really don't understand the area that he's talking about. But for me, I feel there is no wrong time for any action that the NLC are taking regarding the assault of their president. So I'm not in any wrong time.
But don't you think don't you think he's speaking from his wealth of experience? I mean, having headed that position, and even as far as becoming a governor, don't you think he's speaking from his wealth of experience? I mean, having tabled something on the federal government's demand before and has gotten it, though not from the same political party or the same leader.
I feel he's talking because now in the other side of the government, that is the when he was a labor union, I think this action that maybe Adam Osomole would have said the strike to continue in 1 month or as the case may be, because I should remember during his tenure there was a stand down in the country where nothing, the NLP did not allow any place to open because of his deafness on how to see Nigeria do things right. But maybe the way why he's talking this way is because he's now in the side of the government. So he doesn't want to look like he's supporting the NLC where he was one a leader who won.
That's an allegation, though.
Yes.
I said that's an allegation. I hope you know.
Yeah, I am not accusing him, but I am only saying that the way he's talking is because maybe because he is in the side of the government now. Because I feel during his tenure, no security agent will snap up on His Excellency Bambo Shomole, and the whole country can be shut down by NLC. So I know during his tenure he was also arrested, or there were so many things that happened to him. The NLC members are not silent. They go around, they go to the street to tell Nigerians that this is wrong. So I wouldn't see this one to be wrong as he is trying to talk about. I don't think it's not an allegation.
Now, I'm just worried. If it's not the wrong time, why is it that Labour has placed this demand on the table of the federal government for a long time and has
Attempted strike, return strike, and all of that, and yet we haven't still had, something positive come out. I mean, of all the demands of labor, which one can you actually point out and say, oh, or up to two or three that you could say labor placed this on the table of federal government and yes, they have gotten it?
I didn't get that well.
Okay, I
Can you
said,
come again?
okay, I said,
if it's not the wrong
timing.
right, why is it that
That labor has placed this demand on the table of federal government for a long time, and then there is not up to a three or four that you could count and say of all labor's demands, truly the federal government has been able to meet these three.
Labour has always, they have always been talking. I think it is not up to 2 months or whatever when they went on strike and they returned. They, had a, they had a meeting with the federal government, the Federal Executive Council, the council agreement, and they returned to drawing board and they are waiting for results. So, I don't feel before. I don't think it actually to be a long time in. I know they are always going to strike, and we are not expecting the strike to stop anytime soon. So they will always. Hello, can you hear me?
Of course I can.
Hello, Rachel.
Yes, I can hear you,
Godwin.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. If you can hear me, just know I can hear you.
One and two.
Okay, I can hear
Hello,
you,
can you
Godwin.
hear me?
Yes, I can. Hello, Godwin.
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. I was hearing you all along.
Okay. Okay, what I'm saying.
In a position where the economy is biting very hard, and of course, the vulnerable and the average Nigerian gets to suffer it the most. And Nuhuru Badu has said in Abuja at the Chief of Defense Intelligence Annual Conference that the past administration of President Muhammadu Buhari left Nigeria bankrupt. I mean, left Nigeria in a very bad state with no money, according to him. Now, this is also coming, few, would I say, weeks or a month after the president. I mean, it was reported that the president had spent money in hotel accommodations when he traveled for the UN General Assembly, and also the report has it that the president is also planning to spend a huge amount of money to renovate his private residence in Abuja and Lagos, which he may not actually stay in it according to analysis. He may not actually need to be there. I mean, lavishing over $500,000 on a 5-day stay in a luxury hotel in New York in September, and also presently pushing to spend 13.5 billion, that's 16.2 million US dollars, to renovate his official residence, not private rather, in Abuja and in Lagos, where he already has a mansion according to report and would rarely use it as a president. What do you think about this? Let's get to know your thoughts. The phone number is displayed on the TV screen. Feel free to send us a WhatsApp or a text message. Let's see if we can reconnect back to our guest. Hello, good evening, and welcome to the show, Godwin. Okay, I think we lost that call. So I will try to get back to him, and of course, we'll see if we can establish contact again before we wrap it up for the day. We have just a few minutes to go. Now, let me get to know your thoughts on all of these issues that we discussed today. The first issue we discussed was the major between a call for a major, rather, by the PDP presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar, called on the Labour Party, the NNPP, the SDP, and other parties. But these are the parties who responded. Labour Party has denied claims that it is ready to, have a merger with the PDP. Okay, yeah, you're back. Let's just talk before we wrap it up.
Sorry.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
I want to know your thoughts. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, I want to know your thoughts on the NSA's comment about current administration inheriting, a bankrupt Nigeria, a country without money. I'm talking about Nuhu Ribadu. He had made a statement saying that
Okay.
the
Can you hear
President
me?
Bola. Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Why these people they call me?
Hello? Hello? Okay, I think we lost that call again. We'll just have. Oh, yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead and talk.
Okay. Every administration in Nigeria, I don't know if it is the norm that every administration when they come and when they want to leave, they must leave an enormous debt for the incoming administration to take over debt. Like during the time of Mr. Buhari, we know that everybody knows how Buhari was always borrowing money from other countries. The days of Jonathan was also borrowing. Every other administration has always been borrowing money and leaving in enormous debt for the incoming government or incoming administration to inherit. So I wouldn't see this one to be a new thing, but it pains me that we cannot have an administration that comes to settle the debt that the country has incurred for many things. Rather, we are having an administration that comes to borrow a lot of money from other countries, and yet we are not seeing what this money is used for, and the country is thrown debt that other administration will have to come and carry. So for the NSA to say this, I wouldn't look at it like he's saying a wrong thing. But I am also thinking that he will not only criticize the former administration, but he should also use his office or his experience to see how to force solution, how to stop the excessive borrowing of any administration. It would also control how this current administration is going to finance it, bring ideas on how this administration is going to finance this country from different from borrowing a whole lot of money. Because if we continue the way the former administration, that means the next administration that is going to come will also inherit a whole lot of debt, and they will also pay it. So we should not only talk about the amount of money or the within the treasury empty, it also suggest solution to all this borrowing issue, to one different administration bring the country into an enormous debt that posing hardship to the people who live. So you should not just talk about the amount of money, how empty the treasury is. You should also talk about how they are going to make the treasury they are not going to leave the treasury empty like the other administration. That's my point.
Okay, so going forward, I just need an advice.
I mean, on all the issues we talked about today, we just have a minute to say that, just an advice going forward to Nigerians.
Okay, my advice for especially for this present administration, they should look at where they have loopholes, where how the financial dealings that this country has been happening. They should try to close these people where politicians were using to do together, especially from the CBN, where different CBN governors have not been living up to expectations, different kinds of administration. We've had 2 times where the CBN governor was the other person was Godwin Emefiele was arrested. And so all these, they should sit back. Our leaders should sit back and check how to see all these loopholes where money that is meant to be developing the country is being channeled to people's pocket where they're using it for personal activities and all that. And also see how to develop the country scientifically and technologically, build roads, insecurity, our educational system, our health system, everything should things should begin to work now. So that is all I want this administration to look into, how to stop all these excesses of unemployment among the youth and all that.
All right, thank you, Godwin Odobert. Thank you for joining us on the show.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for staying glued to your TV. It's been the law of the people and governance here on Spectrum Television. This is where we close the curtains for the week. So join us again next week on the show. It promises to be informative, educative, and of course exciting as well. It promises to take your messages back to the government for a betterment of people's lives and Nigerians. Don't forget to follow us on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, SpectrumTVLive.ng. My name is Rachel David White. Good evening.